Speaking the truth in love. Now, when you talk about speaking the truth, it may seem a little easy to speak the truth, right? Well, maybe for some of us, speaking the truth is not as easy as it should be. In growing up, we probably have been told by our parents that you should always tell the truth. Anybody have their parents tell you that? You should always tell the truth. Now, if you had parents that would always lie to you, maybe not directly tell you a lie, but they tell you that they would do something, but they don't fulfill on their promises, how did that make you feel? Maybe it causes mistrust. Like maybe your parents would say, I'm going to take you to Elitch's. And come time for your trip to Elitch's, you say, well, I got busy. I have to take care of this. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do that and take you and have fun together with you. Maybe some of this will bring up some emotion from your past, where you had someone that promised you something, maybe over and over again, but didn't follow through with their promises. Now, just speaking the truth is not good enough, according to Jesus, right? Because you can speak the truth, but if it's not in love, it's like you're telling somebody, you know what, I'm going to speak the truth to you, and you are a terrible person, and I just think that if you don't change your ways, you're going to go to hell. Now, is that the truth? Well, for a lot of people, that is the truth, right? But if someone tells you you're going to go to hell, how would they respond to you? Huh?
They wouldn't be very nice.
That wouldn't be very nice. And the thing is, how many people out there are doing that is preachers, right? They're over there preaching this great sermon, all of a sudden say, you are a sinner, and if you don't stop sinning, you're going to go to hell. In fact, that's so much a common thing that people will say things like D-A-M and you, or go to H-E-L-L, right? How many of you ever said that before? When someone upset you, you said go to, right? You ever done that? Huh? Or maybe you didn't say it, but you thought it.
Well, I said it.
But the thing is, what are you saying when you're telling somebody to go somewhere where you don't even want to go yourself? You're speaking truth
Of my feelings, but not
of your feelings, but is that speaking the truth in love? Now, nobody knows who this guy is, right? By just looking at him.
Yeah.
Who is this?
That's Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, but he had a nickname. Does anybody remember his nickname?
Honest Abe.
Honest
Oh, honest?
Abe. Now, how would you like to be called Honest Nathaniel? Every time Nathaniel said something, he always told the truth. Or Honest Eddie, right? Always told the truth. I mean, you're characterized by your name, what somebody would call you, Honest Abe. Now, do you suppose that Honest Abe ever told a lie in his life?
Oh, I bet he has.
He might have not intended to tell a lie, but I would imagine maybe growing up, when he was a kid, he possibly did tell a lie. But the thing is that God is a person that has never told a lie. That's not part of his nature. Now, if you look on the Ten Commandments over there in the corner, there's one of them that's kind of says do not lie, right? Nathaniel, read it.
I don't know what,
shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, right? Now, if you were in a court of law, you understand what a witness is, right? What is a witness?
Somebody has seen something being done.
Someone that saw something that happened, and they're going to testify in court to the judge about what happened. Now, usually when there's a car accident or something, how many witnesses do they usually call up?
Anybody that's seen anything happen?
As many as they could. The more witnesses, and the more the witnesses collaborate the same incident of what happened, the better. But what happens is someone tells a lie, or basically says something that did not happen.
We're doing an evil thing, hurting somebody that doesn't deserve it.
So he's testifying against in court of law, and he's telling something so that the judge will not know the truth of what happened, right? But how many times in our daily walk, our daily life, do we intend for the lie to be understood by another person in the way we express ourselves? And I think sometimes we lie without even realizing that we are lying. You see, you don't have to straight out tell a lie for it to be a lie. In fact, a lot of people have a lie of omission. They leave out something that is an important part of what happened. They'll leave this section out. Why would they leave it out? Because it was important for the whole story to leave it there, to make it the truth. Right?
Right.
And so if we want to be truthful in everything that we do, which would be a good character, would give you a good character, always tell the truth. In other words, like, some of you don't like used car salesmen, right? Well, why do you think used car salesmen have a bad reputation? Well, this is a perfect car for you, and it has no problems at all. Yet he's thinking, except, see, the carburetor needs to be changed, the battery is old, the tires are worn out. No, they'll paint. I mean, the car might look good on the outside, but mechanically speaking, it can be messed up. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? A car on the outside can be beautiful, and everybody who I forgot to turn my phone on.
So did I.
Somebody from Scotts Bluff. But where was I? Okay, so this vehicle, right? And some vehicles, when you go to a used car lot, you really like the appearance of that car. How many of you have gone to a used car dealer before? Anybody? Huh? In fact, even a brand new car, right?
Right.
You ever bought a brand new car, nobody else?
Yep.
Well, tell you what, tell you a secret, right? Even a brand new car, there's somebody else that had driven that car.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's got to park it, right, somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been taken off the truck. But how many people, how many of you have heard that people that have bought a brand new car have had car problems? Huh?
Yeah.
And here the salesman is trying to sell you something that is a piece of junk. Well, why is it that people do not trust used car sales people? Because of past experiences, right? Now, there is one thing that Christians should be selling, And I say selling because that's what we're doing. We're marketing something. And that is marketing Jesus Christ. And we want people to buy into a relationship with Jesus Christ. But the thing is that in order to have people buy a relationship with Jesus Christ, we tend to want to paint the whole picture a little different than what the truth is. You know what I'm talking about? In fact, some people will say, if you become a Christian, you know what? Life is all going to be all grand. You're not going to have any problems at all.
Whoa.
Huh? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Huh? Anybody tell you that before? That if you become a Christian, everything is going to be fine and dandy. Is that what the Bible says? In fact, Jesus again says, in this world you will have trouble. You're going to have problems. You're going to suffer. That's what the truth is. And why is it that people would lie about that? Because they do not trust God. And I want you to understand that if you tell the truth 100% of the time, you are trusting that even though you don't understand why God tells you to do a certain thing a certain way in His Word, is that if you will do it the way God tells you, you'll be okay. God is going to take care of you. Now, Jesus, you can always depend on Him and His Word. In John 8, He says, to the Jews who had believed Him, Jesus said, if you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will what?
Be in you.
Set you free. They answered, we are Abraham's descendants, and we have never been slaves of anyone. How can you say that we shall be set free? Now, if you know anything, if you've read the Bible at all, how many of you have read the Bible in the Old Testament? Huh? You remember a place called Egypt? Well, what happened in Egypt? Slavery. So here's these people, they're so arrogant, and they think they can fool Jesus by lying to Jesus. We have never been slaves. And Jesus must be, how can they even say that? Because their history book, right, the Bible, the Old Testament, is something that they all knew. They read it backwards and forwards. In fact, maybe they had it memorized. And then, yet they say, we have never been slaves. Why did they say that? Because they were opposed to Jesus. They were opposed to Jesus who spoke the truth. And Jesus was trying to tell them, I am God. And they wanted to kill Him. Jesus replied, very truly I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Now, a slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son belongs to it forever. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. I know that you are Abraham's descendants, yet you are looking for a way to kill me because you have no room for my word. Now, if you can imagine what it's like for God to be in human form, knowing the minds of these people, like, you guys have no clue what you're talking about. Here, I am God speaking to you, trying to teach you what is right, and you have just rejected me. Well, where did their ideas come from anyway? It was selfishness for themselves, not wanting to believe the truth. Why? What do you suppose the religious leaders didn't want Jesus to tell everybody who He was? Well, they were afraid that they would lose their authority over the people. And people would not look up to them. In fact, people would do just the opposite, right? Because that's what Jesus did. He painted a picture of the religious leaders that they weren't good people at all. He said that they wouldn't even lift their finger to help a person when they're in need. And it's really sad when I see pastors and churches who refuse to help the people that are in need, when that's what Jesus has commanded us to do. Again, remember what Jesus says to those who helped the needy. If you did this, if you have fed them when they were thirsty, fed them when they're hungry, and give them a drink when they're thirsty, and gave them clothing when they were naked, and visited them when they were in prison. He says, when you did it for the least of these, you have done it for me. But if you haven't, then you haven't done it for me. And he's going to tell people that say, well, look at all these things that I did for you. And he's going to say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, for I never knew you. You see? And this is what Jesus is saying to these people that are arrogant, that you are finding a way to kill them, and that you have no room for my word. I'm telling you what I have seen in the Father's presence, and you are doing what you have heard from your Father. Ooh. What's Jesus referring to? What are these people hearing? Your father. Abraham is our father. They answered, if you were Abraham's children, Jesus said, then you would do what Abraham did. As it is, you're looking for a way to kill me, a man who has told you the truth. But I heard from God, Abraham did not do such things. You're doing the works of your own father. We're not illegitimate children. Now, why do you suppose they said we're not illegitimate children? Do you suppose maybe they had understanding that Mary, his mother, had a baby, a son, which is Jesus, before the marriage took place? Well, what do you call it when a son is born between two unwed people? They call it a B word, right? We don't even like to say that. But he said, we're not illegitimate children like you. Kind of cocky, no? The only father that we have is God himself. Jesus said to them, if God were your father, you would love me. For I have come here from God. I have not come on my own. God sent me. Why is my language not clear to you? Because you are not able to hear what I say? Are you deaf? You belong to your father, the devil. Ooh! Can you imagine those Pharisees and Sadducees and religious leaders saying, your father is the devil? Can you imagine why they wanted to kill Jesus? And you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Yet because I tell the truth, you do not believe me. Whoever belongs to God hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is that you do not belong to God. Oh, man, can you feel their temperature rising, their blood pressure going up? Maybe their faces are turning red in anger, ready to stone him. I want to go to the New Testament where it talks about this couple, and their name was Ananias and Sapphira. Maybe some of you have heard about that story. It says, now a man named Ananias, together with his wife Sapphira, also sold a piece of property. Now, if you understand the beginning of the church, they had everything in common. They sold all their possessions so that